What's going on, guys? It's Picsoleated, and today we are looking at the biggest collaboration from Adidas in a long time that is not Kanye related. It is one that prior to release we've all been curious about and looking forward to since Adidas announced their partnership with the Queen Bee, Beyonce herself. Yes, we're talking about the Adidas x Beyonce Ivy Park collection. Named after Beyonce and Jay-Z's daughter Blue Ivy, the Ivy Park collection isn't for kids, but it is large and comprehensive and has so many pieces. There's so many pieces in this collection that Adidas Canada's website wouldn't even let me buy more than 3 items. After I added 3 items to cart, it gave me some excuse of like, oh, this item's not in stock, this size is not in stock, when they clearly were. I was there at drop time. All those sizes didn't just sell out right away. And before you haters hate, I know for a fact that it wasn't the size that wasn't in stock, because after I tried to add all the other sizes, I tried to add different items and literally nothing would add to my cart after 3 items. Regardless, I was able to get a few things and we'll take a look at them, but before we do that, I've still got a little bit more information to share with y'all. The collection released on Saturday, January 18th, but there was a surprise early release on Friday, January 17th, and I was able to get my items on that day. And the whole idea behind this collection for Beyonce was that she wanted to design and reimagine pieces that serve as favorite armor for people, such as sweatpants, sweatshirts, socks, sneakers. At least those were the things I was interested in. There were still other items in the collection, such as skirts, bras, jumpsuits, bodysuits, harness bags, so on and so forth. And I know some of you haters are thinking,
hey, this is the Adidas x Beyonce collection. Doesn't that mean it's for women? Why is a brown dude like you buying women's clothing?
well, first off, let me address that me being a sexy brown chocolate complexion has nothing to do with the kind of clothes I buy. Well, sometimes, because once in a while you gotta see what color clothes go well with your skin tone. And normally you would be right that an Adidas x Beyonce collection would be for women's only. I mean, it is a clothing collection fronted by a female celebrity. But to help me finish making my point, for one, the collection is deemed to be gender neutral. At least the sizing is defined as gender neutral. Now, obviously that doesn't mean I'm gonna go ahead and buy the skirts or the bras, because I don't need bras. Hopefully. But don't take that as my sole reason for buying her clothing. To make my final point, the clothing I bought has men wearing it. Is that not enough? Are you not entertained? Alright, so well, that potentially gave away what I bought, but maybe not, so we'll see. Now, the collection has come under some criticism and controversy as of late, but we'll get into that in a bit. First, let's look at the items I bought. The first item I got is this Ivy Park sweatshirt. Here it is, this giant slab of French terry cotton. The Ivy Park sweatshirt retailed for 120 Canadian dollars here in Canada on Adidas's website. The sweatshirt, to my disappointment, has no hood, but makes up for it in many other ways with plenty more details that we'll go over. But first thing I want to make very clear is the color of this piece. When you look at it online in pictures, it looks like it's basically a cream sweater, right? But when you finally get it in hand, you'll notice there's actually the slightest tint of pink or rose in it, and that doesn't bother me much for clothing, but it might be a little misleading for some people who thought it was just going to be cream, so just keep that in mind. The other big thing, and I truly mean big thing, you'll notice here is that it is actually pretty big. The sweatshirt I bought in a size large. I'm usually a good comfortable fit in a size large where it would be just a touch comfy and not too baggy. Normally medium is where I draw the line, because medium fits, but it doesn't have the amount of slack or bagginess I prefer. But with this sweatshirt, I feel like I could have gone with a size medium and I'd still get that comfortable fit. Heck, possibly even a size small, but I know size small would be pushing it. This is a true large, and I can see what they mean with gender neutral sizing, because if a large can fit this big and baggy on me, a 2XL probably fits like a 4XL. Keep in mind, I'm 5'7" and I weigh about 165. Regardless, I can still make the size large work because of my style preference, but it might be big for many others. Let's look at the details. First, we have these maroon 3 stripes on both sleeves. We then have the Ivy in all caps on one shoulder and Park on all caps on the other shoulder, signifying the collection name, of course, and the fact that the name of the collection is a tribute to Blue Ivy. Then we have this asymmetrical collar that is very elastic, and it has this maroon piping creating a triangle around it. Sort of makes me feel scholarly and street at the same time. It's got a short slit on both sides of the sweatshirt and is longer from the back than it is from the front. Finally, we have this nifty kangaroo pouch on the front that is sealed by Velcro, and the entire sweatshirt overall just feels like great quality and soft, well-weighted material, while still being breathable. Overall, it's a really nice piece. The details are plenty, it's top-notch quality. There's really nothing to complain about here other than maybe the size, but I can still make it work, so it's not too big of a deal. Next item we've got is an accessory. It's this harness bag right here. It's the same color as the sweatshirt, that cream color with the slightest tint of pink or rose. The harness bag retailed for 85 Canadian dollars here in Canada. Now, this is an interesting item for me because I haven't really owned a harness bag or chest rig before, but ever since I saw Kanye West wear the Aleeks chest rig, I knew I wanted something like that at some point in the future, so I thought, why not try this out? And of course, this costs way less than the Aleeks chest rig, so there's that. It works similarly in that it performs the functions of a side or shoulder bag. It's got this cool giant size Ivy Park tag on one of the zippers, and it's got 3 compartments, one small, one medium, And finally, the biggest pocket that can fit my phone and a lot of other things. Now, I gotta be honest, I was pretty hyped for this item and I still think it's cool, but now that I have it in hand, I'm not really as excited for it. I'll be honest, with the clothing, the pink tint is not a big deal to me, but for this bag, it just looks a touch too feminine for me, but that's just my preference. It's up to you whether that bothers you or not. And that's not the biggest reason I don't like it. I just don't feel like I use the two compartments in the front too much because they're not big enough for most of the things I carry. Plus, the whole dynamic of having everything in front of me feels like it might be too inconvenient. Just looking down at this thing feels like a chore to me. Imagine having to look directly at your nipples every time you wanted to pull something out, like your phone or your wallet or something else you carry with you, like your keys or headphones. That's what it feels like every time I want to grab something from this harness bag. It also doesn't hold on well to me, either that or I just don't know how to tighten it properly. Either way, all those reasons, plus it literally won't match with anything else in my closet, are the main reasons why I'm not a fan of this piece. Finally, we are onto the last item I bought in this collection, and it is these cargo sweatpants right here. Another heavyweight contender in the Beyonce Ivy Park collection. These sweatpants retailed for 100 Canadian dollars here in Canada. Like the other clothing item I bought, these pants are huge. I should have been more keen on the measurements of these pieces because I once again bought these sweatpants in a size large, and although they are super baggy, this is the one time I do not regret that decision at all. I'm loving the comfort. The cozy level on these is over 9,000. One thing that bothers me about pants in general is when the waist feels tight and starts to get uncomfortable over the course of the day. You're not going to have that problem with these. Now, these pants stay overly true to their name. They take cargo pants to another level with the amount of pockets they have. We've got the traditional side pockets, but they've got zippers to keep your goods safe. Then we have this front pocket on your thigh made of an entirely new material, and a front pocket on your right side as well at a higher level with no protective flap. All the way to these absurd pockets to the left side of your calf with Ivy Park embroidered next to it and the 3 maroon stripes going over it. I can't imagine you'd use this pocket for anything unless you truly ran out of space in the other pockets because it's in such a unique, or rather inconvenient spot. Then we have a similar pocket on the right calf in an equally inconvenient spot. We'll see if this gets any use from me. Another unique design choice for these pants that is purely aesthetic is these buttons. Kind of like tearaway track pants, we have these clip-on buttons that open up at an awkward midpoint on the pants that are there for the sole reason to expose your kneecap. Seriously, does nothing else. We have another set of 3 buttons on the back of the right pant leg that does exactly the same thing, except this time it exposes the back of your shin. All jokes aside, these design cues are meant to be aesthetic, but it allows you to wear the pants how you see fit and gives you the freedom to style them as you wish. If you're looking for your true size, I'd recommend sizing down at least once or possibly twice with these, but if you're okay with a baggy fit and a looser than usual but still holds on to your waist fit, then feel free to go true to size. I personally am fine with my true to size. The material quality is great on these. I think they're well worth the money. These cargo sweatpants did release in a maroon colorway as well, and the more I look at them, the more I wonder why I didn't get the maroon colorway over these. Those seem a little more versatile for my looks, but to be honest, I definitely am still happy with these. These have immediately gone on to the top of my list of the most comfortable sweatpants I own. As mentioned before, these are only 3 of the items from the collection. There are far more pieces in this collection for you to check out if you haven't already taken a peek, but we have to talk about something very important, and that is the backlash and criticism this collection received after its release. Beyonce's Ivy Park collection sparked a lot of criticism amongst the plus size community. They complained that the lack of plus sizing in this collection was a letdown and goes against Beyonce's all-encompassing message of inclusivity, saying she has plus size dancers and background singers but can't be bothered to include plus sizing in her clothing collection. Really can't catch a break these days, huh? Now, I'm not going to say this is a non-issue because I'm not part of that community. I don't know the kind of struggles they go through or the obstacles they face in regards to clothing or in regards to anything really, but I do have a few thoughts on this. One, I don't think Beyonce's at fault for this because there's a lot that goes into production and the process of creating clothes and manufacturing them. When repurposing these designs for clothes that fit much bigger, the designs essentially become different, they're not the same, and it's not easy to repurpose them that way, especially for a mainstream brand like Adidas. To my knowledge, I don't think Adidas has ever made plus size clothing. I'm not really sure if they have or haven't, but as far as I can tell, they haven't. And even then, the designing becomes the easy part, because to then create an entire process for manufacturing, probably have to buy different machines, or it would probably cost Adidas tons more than they would probably make through this collection. Most clothing brands don't make a lot through their limited collections unless there's large enough quantity. I'm sure there was large enough quantity for them to pull a profit on this. I'm sure they make more money off other things. But to my next point, Have you seen how big this stuff fits? A large fits like an XL, and XL probably fits like a 2XL, and according to a press release, this clothing collection only released up to a size XL, but on Adidas Canada's website, I'm pretty sure I saw a 2XL, and according to other people, the collection released up to a size 4XL on other sites. So with that knowledge in mind, I feel like these did release in big enough sizes for the community. Maybe the information was skewed or miscommunicated along the way, but at the end of the day, there was clothing for the plus size. Maybe if more people knew just how big this clothing collection fit, and honestly I attribute that a little bit to the gender neutral sizing. A lot of people probably just saw XL or whatever the biggest size was and they thought, wow, I know for a fact that normally this size doesn't fit me, but they don't know that this probably fits much bigger than their typical XL. Because honestly, I had no idea what I was in for. When I bought the size large with the gender neutral sizing, I was wondering whether these would fit me like a men's large or whether they would fit me like a women's large, in which case I'd look like a suffocating balloon animal in them. Thankfully they fit comfortably, more than comfortably, and I'm happy with the sizing, and I'm sure most people would have been too. So that's it, there you have it, that's my review of the Adidas x Beyonce Ivy Park collection. Was there anything you liked or didn't like, or do you have any comments about the criticism and backlash this collection received after its release? Leave it all in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell to keep up with the content. Catch you later. Picsoleated is going to the park.